Good morning, legends. Well, we can definitely say that footy's back, that's for sure. 9 games over the weekend. It was plenty of fun. I had to watch a lot of footy that didn't accumulate me NRL fantasy points, but that is okay. We're going to kick it off with the Bunnies and the Dragons here. 28-6 win for the Bunnies. No one obviously missed out on them for the Saturday previews. I wasn't able to watch that, but I have been able to now. That's the most recent one I've watched, and it was a little bit of a sad one for Dragons, given how strong of a team they played. He obviously had some nice tries, mainly through the middle of the game and to the back end, obviously there with a Burns 71st minute try and a Kenner in the 80th. So it does make it look a little bit worse, but there were some good signs for the Dragons, and we'll kick off with them now with a few of their players. And one of them was that Jack Bird was not wearing anything on his knees, so no strapping, no nothing, which was great, and he had some really aggressive attacking runs, which is exactly what you wanted from him. So that accumulated to only 21 fantasy points and 18 for Moses Sully there as well, but he looked really strong as well, and exactly what we kind of would have thought. But obviously with a team like this, if they are to lose a good chunk of their games, things kind of fell apart a little bit when Ben Hunt was off, when Jacob Little went off as well. So in the start of that second half, the Bunnies they brought back Murray, Totola, and these kind of guys as well, and that obviously helped them out. And Murray kind of showed his stuff in that first 10 minutes after half, where they were able to get a bit of a roll on and score a few of the tries. But defensively in that first half was very, very close for both sides, and big hits and the like, which we always like to see from the Charity Shield. But Sully there, Bird, both look really solid. Lomax, 11 points. He played a lot of this game too, and wasn't able to score too well, but playing on the wing, I just don't like. Obviously, my big thing here is with Sloan. So he just looked exactly the same. Rocks and diamonds. He would either make a line break, or he would get driven back, or he would lose the ball and make some type of mistake, which was not good. And that's exactly what we saw last year. He'd have those moments of brilliance, but then he'd have those issues like that. So does Lomax play at fullback in their trial next week? I'm not exactly sure. It'd be very, very interesting to see. Cole Flanagan, guys, this is the big news of this game. To be honest with you, there is the fact that he didn't do really any of the kicking until Ben Hunt went off. And Flanagan was on very, very low points until that point. He did make 89 run meters, and I think he had 4 runs when the time that Hunt was on, which was good. Quick play the ball speed as well, 2.3, which is always nice to see there. But had his hands on the ball a little bit. He had he got the ball 30 times compared to wherever Hunt is. Sorry, Hunt was 30 times there. Flanagan was 48 times, obviously taking over in the second half there. So they both got their hands on the ball a decent amount of the time. He made 17 tackles for 2 misses, which is pretty well what we expect from Flano on that one. And ended up getting a few kicks at the back end for 124 kick meters there. So you can see that a lot of it's just in base, but the fact that he won't be getting many of the kick meters when Hunt is on the field is the alarming figure there, and the fact that he's not kicking goals with Lomax kicking those goals as well. So when you can compare Flanagan and Drew Hutchison is very much a main playmaker in that side. He's going to be doing plenty of the kicking. He also has the base as well, and the upside, that 100 upside that we saw at the back end of last year that Flanagan does not have. So at the moment, I'm going to be leaving Flanagan out of my side, and this is one of the only trial analysis that I'm going to make where a certain player goes in and out of my side. And it's if something is tragically different to what we hoped for or what our analysis provided with the numbers, and that's something there. So if he's now moved to a new team with Hunt is now the main kicker, so he's going to lose 3 or 4 points with that. He's not goal kicking. So that's where the big issue is there with Flanagan. Whereas a lot of these other guys' team, these trial games, so many errors. They're played a bit differently. Guys are playing limited minutes. Balls moved around a bit more and they're trying different things. So how they normally play is not exactly how it is. So that's when you can look back at the numbers for most of these players, especially if they've been with a team for many years there. And the big thing we're looking for in the trials is if guys have improved, if they've gotten bigger, if they've gotten leaner, if they have just come out and they've actually really improved, if they have that same role. And does it look like they're going to be the guy that's stepping up into a bigger minute role and all those types of things. So that's a big one with Flanagan in this one. Little guys with the 40 minutes, I think, played the first half, and that was it. So 22 points for him. Had one good run. Nothing too exciting on that front. Tom Eisenhuth as well, guys. 14 points there. He just, again, we know what type of player he is. 17 tackles, 1 miss. Had an error, I think, in one of the first plays of the game with a high kick, and and a penalty, I think, as well. And not many run meters. Was not great. I think see someone with potential for RFM and Lucy and all these kind of guys. I think we can leave him at a bit over 400k at this point. He was kind of out of our thoughts at the moment. Anyway, Jaden Suar looked absolutely damaging. He only got the 24 points. He played the first half, I believe, as well. Unless he came off a little bit earlier. But anyway, first half, 24 points, 96 run meters, 35 posts. He was a real tough guy to defend, that's for sure. Guys that we're looking at, Dylan Egan, he's going to come in cheap to the game. He had 24 fantasy points there, basically all in tackles, a couple of runs in there for 23 points. 23 run meters, so nothing much for him. Viliami Fafita looks solid as well. He's actually, he's in a fair few teams, funnily enough, and the Couchman boys look pretty solid as well. So it's probably the main takeaways from this team, guys, is that Kyle Flanagan news there. Let's go to the Bunnies, and they have a very, very interesting trip coming up, obviously, to Vegas, and their outside backs was the big focus. And really, none of these guys stood out to me. Obviously, Kenneth scored a try on the wing, actually it was, where he scored that try. Tane Milne got a conversion there. But again, all these guys are around that 400k, not too exciting. Someone like Jacob Gagai, if he managed to get a center or a wing spot, there's a lot of similarities to his brother, Dane, and in his running style and the elusiveness. And he had a couple of really good runs there. He picked up 31 points there with 76 run meters and obviously 5 tackle breaks. So yeah, if you can get some good run meters up at on a wing, then that could be cool. But other than that, I think you can avoid any of the outside backs here all the way to Ilias, and then we kick things off with Tavita Zatola. Picked up 32 fantasy points. Played that extra 10 minutes in the second half, so he's up a bit over that 35 mark. So PPM just under that one at about the 0.9, 0.88 kind of thing range there, and he looks solid, guys. He ran really well, 128 meters there, 61 posts is what you're looking for with him, and again, no strapping on his knees is a really good thing to see for Tavita, with the 22 tackles for 2 misses, and one of them was a breakaway, which he threw an arm out. So really for Tavita, you expect some good minutes out of him. He's the leader in this pack. Unless Mr. Sean Kepi comes in and shows him up, because he was absolutely great as well. But Tavita has the runs on the board. Kepi came out and he wanted to show himself and what he can do. But Tavita, a great player for our squads. Nothing too much changes. He looks fit, and that's exactly what we wanted to see. Sean Kepi, 21 tackles, 3 misses, but he had a truckload of runs, I think it was, up at 17 runs for 156 meters, 62 posts, which was awesome for him. Great to see. He's definitely had that in his game, but he just hasn't been able to show that on a regular basis, unfortunately. And in this one, he could, and I hope to see that again next week. And if he does, and I think people will look at him in their side, my main worry is that he's not basement price, and he could be a lower minute guy in this pack when they have the full squad together. That's for sure. But we'll see how things go. And does Tallis Duncan take some minutes? We'll find out soon. Jai Arrow, guys, was solid as well. 23 points there. A couple of good tackles in there. 55 run meters. He's going to be one of the lower run meter guys, I think, in this pack. Obviously, they've got, Murray's going to run plenty. You've got, Colin Matangi is going to be a bit more of a ball runner than what Arrow is in this team. So I think Arrow, if he gets big minutes, he could be worth it in anyone's side. I was having a look at him, and he definitely has a bit of value, but how he gets to that, how many minutes, we need to find all that out before looking at picking someone like Arrow in round 1. Cam Murray looked exactly like how you wanted it to be. The big thing with Murray, guys, was the fact that he came back out after half time, and he got 2 really good offloads away. One led directly to a try. They got it to Kepi. He ended up swinging around and offloading as well, and they got it out to the right wing, where Kenneth scored, and I think that is that little bit of positive reinforcement, for from Murray to be offloading a little bit more, which is awesome. So he had that one, he had a little bit of confidence off that, and then he offloaded again in the next set or two, which was awesome to see with Murray. About 55 minutes for 43 points. Exactly what you want, and hopefully that it is that way, where he gets sort of that 60 odd minutes in the middle and then moves to the edge for the rest. Still definitely in my thoughts. Jai Gray, incredible runner of the footy at 170, had an absolute shocker with the high ball in that first play when he came on, basically, but then ran well from there. Jacob Host worked hard and he ended up with a try off a nice tackle off Ilias to dislodge that ball from Sloan. And I suppose that's the big thing there. Braden Burns came on and played the majority of the game then. After who went down? Who went down again? Got that. Oh, Kenna went off originally, and then it ended up coming back on. and Burns played the rest of the game, which is cool for him. 59 fantasy points there. So, yeah, not too much else to say on the South. We'll move on to the next one there. Dolphins and Titans, guys. 26-14 was the finisher last night, that's for sure. Really, really cool backdrop at the Sunshine Coast Stadium, of course, the Sunshine Coast. The end of that day looked beautiful. The sunset. There you go. It took me a second to work that one out. Anyway, 26-14 for the Dolphins on that one. Kind of, yeah, it was just a solid game. There's some good things to see on both sides. I think we just get straight into the players for the Dolphins on this one. Some good signs, obviously, with Jack Bostock. For me, I think that he looked bigger, stronger, better. Looked for work as well. So he ended up with 132 meters, which is exactly what we want from someone like Bostock. Picked up a try as well for 37 points. So if he was to get something like that on a regular basis, obviously, he did play the full game in this one. They give him some good early ball, and he'll be able to get somewhere near that 130 on a regular basis. And obviously, picking up the try gets him up into the 37s, the 40s ranges, where before he was getting that sort of 14, 15 with lower run meters, where in this one he looked for work, and you can imagine now his base is somewhere closer to 20. So he's definitely not the worst option at 314. We do need to see if he gets that spot in round one. He's also fighting with the man Tessie New, who is great, guys. He is just someone I think he looks better. He's improved, stronger, faster. Very much a crab running, elusive kind of running style, which means he's going to get some tackle breaks, which you saw in this game with 4. Bostock got the 5 as well, just really running hard for the most part. So Tessie, I think he's improved on that. Is it enough to get a spot? Is he going to be the center over Jake Averillo? All the questions you need to find out over the next trial. Obviously, this is a building block for next trial, guys, and then we'll get the final team list ready for round 1, which would be cool. So yeah, those two guys, very interesting. Trey Fuller, really impressive player as well. Good run over the footy. Pops up in the right spots. Herbie Farnworth, 53. Gee, looks good. Played right centre for the first half, then moved into fullback, and again, just was able to ball run the footy and do good things, which was nice. But he scored the majority of his points at centre, where he obviously can get one-on-one with his centre opposite defender and do good things. Jermaine Sarko with 19, he got close to scoring a few tries at times, which was cool. Only had the one conversion attempt for him before he went off. Lowest scoring first half, it was, I think, 6-4 or 4, something like that. Big thing, guys, I thought Isaiah Katoa looked bigger, stronger, and improved. So I think he just turned 20. Good thing, obviously a little bit older there. He's someone that you can look at and go, yep, he'll definitely improve in this side. I think he'll have a solid base like he did last year, but I think he'll have some uptick on that right-hand side with Herbie Farnworth and also Asako. I think that's a really, really strong side for him with Felice Kafusi. And he had the try assist, the line break assist there. He had a few kicks as well, which picked him. He had the 2 kicks. Okay. Yeah, so it wasn't much in this game. 34 kick meters for Katoa and 18 for O'Sullivan. Is that? Wow. Is that actually correct? There was just no kicking in the first half. That's wild. So you can get that number up. He had a few bombs in there for that number, but I think he'll be better. And just someone to watch, that's for sure. Guys like Flegler and Marshall King, I think they looked okay, guys. You can look at those scores at 26 and 15 and not be too excited about it. And fair enough, Flegler 55 run meters. You need him into the hundreds. So you probably wanted sort of 70 or 80, 90 in this one to get excited about him, given he needs a good uptick in minutes and then obviously a PPM up as well. Marshall King looked okay, guys. He played the first half for 15 points. So look, again, it's a trial. He looked like he was just in facilitating mode rather than looking for runs and stuff, and nice try assists around the ruck, close to the line. But I think he'll be fine, so don't take too much out of this. But it just definitely just looked like he was just ready to facilitate in this one and get his other guys some work, given he's one of the more experienced players in this side. That's probably my takeaway on that. Don't read too much into it. If you're interested in him before, read his stats, right? He's got years and years of stats now. Don't take this one trial and a 15 in 40 minutes to really cook you in your analysis on him, that's for sure. A lot of people talking about Ewan Aiken as a starter. What we did see was obviously his work ethic, but Connolly Lemuelu played the second half in this one, and coming back from injury, he's now got a couple of weeks until round 1. I think he'll be there in round 1. He was electric again. So coming off and PCL, MCL injury. I'm not sure. It could be both. Apparently, it wasn't a great one. He looked elusive. He still was able to move off that knee. 44 points for him. Got a cheap try near the end, obviously, but he looks more damaging than what Aiken does, so I think that he'll be in that starting spot. That's where I'm at the moment with him. Felice Kafusi, only 5 points. Good work, mate. Tom Gilbert, a good return from him. Nice to see him out there. Valence Tafade looked a little bit more trim, which was good. And then you've got Averillo in there with the 23 points. So he came out and he got a couple of runs there, and there's one at the end where they kind of just missed a real cheap tackle on him, and he got a couple more tackle breaks at that. So he's someone that I don't think you get too excited about, especially if he's not starting. But that 23 could have been like a 12 or 13, and it looked elusive. But it's strange that he came off the bench and he looked fit. So I don't know. I think Tessie New might actually be ahead of him, which is painful. And then Jared Wallace, guys, he has to be in this team. 67 points. It wasn't that. He was literally running in every hole. He was in every bit of attack that they had in that second half when he came on, and he really turned this game on its head. Obviously, being a long-term first grader, compared to a lot of the people he was coming up against, he just showed his class, and he has to be in this 17. There's no ifs, buts about it. Ifs or buts about it with that for Jared Wallace. For the Titans there, Tony Francis was really exciting. De Groot had a couple of good moments as well. They're all good things, obviously, there as well for the Titans, but they mainly just played their second strings. Like Weaver was solid. Isaac Sulamala-Awi was really, really good. Yeah, he was their big dog in this pack. You really didn't notice any of their other forwards apart from Isaac. He had a head knock and came back on and did good things. 100 meters for 34. Post-contact was awesome for him. Harley Smith-Shields had some, end up with some good points there. 111 run meters to 3 tackle breaks, and 9 tackles was good. So obviously some bits and pieces of turnover tackles in the and the like there. So that's probably all I've got to say on the Dolphins Titans. And obviously for the Titans wasn't a full strength side, so there's only so much you can take out of it. Let's go to the Cowboys and the Broncos, guys. But before we do that, just obviously a reminder again about the private group that we've got going on. So yeah, available for 210 people there. You get all the help from myself one-on-one. We got the competitions here for the overall points and also head-to-head, which is really cool. We get the weekly Q&A. All the one-on-one help that I'm providing, guys, will be for anyone in the private groups. If you do DM me, that's where I'll steer you, just because I'll have a lot of people to attend to who can message me at any time and get help with their teams and any questions and the like there as well. So that's where I'll be pushing you. It's 49 Aussie dollars to join. A bit over half of that goes to the prize pool, and then a bit to me. So a big support. And if you can't, if you aren't going to join that, guys, then I just really appreciate you guys watching each and every video. It really helps me out in my endeavors to keep doing this. And I love you guys and I appreciate it. So yeah, Cowboys and the Broncos next. And for the Cowboys, Semi Valame was by far their best. And then you had Firiaki as well, who had a really, really good game as well for the most part, obviously being a youngster as well. Broncos went away with this in the second half with a couple of tries early to Cobbo and Walsh. But yeah, they had a lot more depth in this game. The Cowboys didn't play a lot of anywhere near their top 17. So that's okay. That happens, right? Great to see Tom Chester back and returning, which was awesome. It's exactly what we needed from him to get through that. He said he was nervous, but a couple of issues at the start. But yeah, Semi, you see there, 51 fantasy points, did a great job. Tom McKaylee as well was really, really good at 61 points in this one, 120 run meters, 47 posts, and worked really hard on the tackling side, 33 for 1 miss. So good stuff for McKaylee in his debut for the club. Other news there is Robert Darby, guys, who was in our cash cow thoughts. The -1 for him, unfortunately, got injured. It looks like he subluxed his shoulder on a big reach out. I'm someone that's subluxed from playing cricket, so yeah, a bit different, obviously. But Darby, not good at all on that front for Darby. So hopefully he's okay. Vaialea, everyone still keeps talking him up. I just don't see it, unless he'll pop 1 point, but I just don't see the hype on him at the moment. But I hope he does come good for the Cows. I just don't see him making this round 1 team. Tom Duffy looked okay, guys. Again, we'll find out a bit more from him. Sean Mullaney worked really hard in the 9 jersey. As I said, Finnair got the try, which was good, and played a lot of this game. Obviously, 80 meters run, 32 tackles for 2 misses. Much better than what we've seen from him. Someone I thought had really improved, guys, was Sam McIntyre. He was really, really tough in defense. He looked like he was fighting for a spot in the Cowboys round 1 side, but don't expect a lot of these guys to make that 17 in round 1. Surprisingly, that Semi Valame was put into this trial rather than waiting for the second one, I think he'll really push his case for a starting spot. But the rest of the guys, not so much on that front. Got some sort of sad news on Brendan Piakura, guys. He obviously came out and did really, really well and picked up 2 tries, and he looked as a massive improver this year, guys. His running was great. Defensively, he was much better as well. Just the way it watched, surprisingly enough, only 4 tackles for 1 miss. But the time that he was on the park, they obviously scored 2 tries, and they were in more of an attacking mind frame. And Jaden Hunt picked up 28 tackles on the other side, so you can see which way they were going. That's for sure. Payne Haas picked up 12 tackles, just to give you some context on how this game ended up. For those that played bigger minutes, like the Maddens, there was some more tackles in there as well. And I suppose Payne Haas didn't have to come out and absolutely dominate this one, did he? Because we know, everyone knows what he's going to provide from round 1. But Piakura looked great, guys. The main issue with him is he was in a knee brace and he's been sent for scans, unfortunately, on that knee. Sounds like NRL physio saying anywhere between 1 to 6 weeks. So if it's real minor, it could be sort of 1 week or 2. But likely is anywhere between 2 and 6 if it's bad, unfortunately. So that's the Piakura news, which is not good. Check out the Magic Sponge podcast as well. He'll be able to help you. They went for a deep dive on that with Brian Sini there, the NRL physio. Reece Walsh did some good things in this one. He looked electric as always. Don't take too much more out of that. Selman Cobo had a couple of good efforts there. Nice try, line break try assist as well, which was cool. Dean Mariner didn't look great, guys, until the back end. He had a really good line break and run where he got a lot of tackle breaks. So yeah, take that. Don't take too much out of that. He's down a little bit on my stocks. I wanted to see him take that jump, and he hasn't done that yet. Corey Jensen is someone, guys, I actually think has a decent amount of value. When you've got Baker coming back from injury, who looked okay in this one, picked up 20 points in 25 or so minutes, but Jensen is going to be starting very, very likely. And if he was to get, I think I worked out to be 40, somewhere around that 45 minutes, 47, I think is where he gets sort of 6 or 7 points of value. And that's probably expected in that mid 40s or so as the starter in this side. So yeah, he's a surprising one. He actually looked stronger in running the footy, 160 meters run for 75 post contact. So he actually looked better than last year. So take that what you will. If you did have any interest in Jensen, I'm not going to push you away from it. He's going to be the meat and potatoes guy. Obviously, yeah, good 160 meters, 25 tackles for no misses there as well. So he was great in this game. Like could not push you away from it. Payne Haas, of course, this is the game, right? Get them all out now because he dropped the ball twice, had a penalty, a high tackle, and what else to do? He missed a couple of tackles? Missed 1 tackle, which he just never does. Like, if you look at his stats from last year, I think he had like a couple of penalties and like 1 or 2 errors for the entirety of the season. And in this trial game, he did that a couple of times, which was wild. So, yeah, only 2 tackle breaks for him. So, just a little bit mini hit out for him. Don't take too much out of this, but if you are looking to go against him, this trial game didn't help. And if you are on him still, then no issues. I don't think with this one. These types of games don't mean too much to someone like Payne Haas. He got his runs in, got a few tackles in, he'll be fine. Jaden Hunt, if Brendan Piakura is out for a little while, then he could be the guy to step in and replace him, and we'll have a little bit more of a talk about him as we go. But 39 run meters, not too exciting. Obviously, yeah, tackled well there, as he said, 28 tackles for 2 misses. He worked hard on that front, and he was the highest tackles man in this team, which is cool. Exactly what you want to see for someone that's fighting for a spot. Carrigan looked solid, guys. Not much more to say on him. Marty Tapau, really a good chance of making this side, obviously, as well. 135 run meters and 8 tackles. Again, the low tackle numbers is funny there. Baker looks solid, guys. Definitely, you can still look at him. Had a couple of good runs. Didn't look damaging at all, but that's kind of what we expect from him. There's a little bit of talk about Kobe Hetherington coming off holding his calf. I haven't heard any further information on that, but we'll see what happens with that over the next day or so. And then you've got Bentakura there. Tristan Saylor scored a try. Like both were solid guys. Bentakura, I think he's a little bit down in the pecking order, so not too much further to say on him. Let's finish off with the last one, guys. We've got the Warriors and the Tigers. So a really, pretty good clash this was actually between these two. And our boy Alex Seyfarth picked up the try early, and we'll speak about him in a sec. But we'll go into the Warriors players first, and Jacob Laban. How good was he? That's for sure. But the big news here really was was Leia Ta'ua there with the Warriors as centre. I'm working out his name. There you go. Leia Ta'ua. Learning. Cool. He looked great. He looked super damaging, and I would have him over Rocco Berry, straight up. Roger was on that left side. My God, he was incredible. Did not look like he missed a beat, and I do love him at centre. He can get one-on-one with defenders, and he can burn them. His defense was the best I've ever seen it as well. So no issues for him at center, guys. Defensively, he worked really hard. 9 tackles for 2 misses, but those 9 tackles were all massive hits. And yeah, he caused an error on one of them. Ali there, 17 tackles for 2 misses, was great. He ran the footy well. Also got a line break assist in one of them. 65 run meters, I think 5 tackle breaks. So yeah, as an elusive in there, big, strong, good defender. So exactly what they need, I think, on that right-hand side next to Sean Johnson. I think that's going to be super helpful. And I think there's a high chance he makes that side, and he'll be in my centres as a dual position guy. Wing fullback centre he'll be for fantasy, which would be great. Exactly what you want to be looking for there. And Roger, I'm not going to turn anyone away. He looked great. Chanel was okay, guys. Luke Metcalf, really, really solid. Looked, still super quick. So just hopefully he can stay on the park. 56 run meters for him. Line breaks his try assist, which was good. From there, Tom Ale looked better as well. I said Laban was great. And then you had Bunty Afoa, who was awesome. 50 points for him, Ale 52. So they worked really hard there. 137 and 156 meters. 82 posts for Tom. Incredible. Laban's going to be a guy that is fighting for an edge spot, but he's probably behind Murata as well, who'd be 3rd in line. So he's probably 4th in line there for Jacob, but looked great on that front there. And he had some guys coming in off the bench there. Who were the guys I was interested in? Who was the 5'8" that came on? Can't remember his name. Was it Zion? Zion got the send off, which wasn't great there at all. Who was it? I'll have to work it out a bit later. Yeah, can't work it out. But yeah, whoever came in and played after Luke Metcalf looked really, really strong as well. That's the Warriors, guys. They looked, I'm happy with how they looked for sure, given they didn't play a super full strength side. It was kind of a half-half, with Tigers playing a very, very strong side for them, that's for sure. And picked up the win in the back end here, with Buller kind of just being in this game without really being in this game, to be honest with you there. Declan Casey copped that one, unfortunately, and I hope that he's okay. Faa Tape, 37 points for him. He looks like a really elusive ball runner, which is cool. So I'd be looking at him potentially if he was to earn some type of spot in this side eventually, for sure, just with his ball running ability. 98 run meters, the line break, the try assist, a couple of tackle breaks at that, which was cool. Sullivan and Caesar worked together. The big news in this one, guys, Coruscant kicked the goals instead of Caesar. So I think you can rub Caesar out of your teams, get rid of him. Unfortunately, just, no goal kicking. He looked solid, guys. He scored a try in there. He kind of kicked around and did some good things off that left boot. But 183 kick meters for Sullivan. He did play the second half and Caesar didn't. So that's where a lot of those kick meters came. But he did kick a little bit in the first half as well before Caesar went off there as well. So Caesar's a no. Sullivan's probably a no for me as well at this point, but just keep a watch. Stefano had some really good attacking runs. Coruscant only played like 23 minutes or something, or I don't know, something super low. So he was about a point a minute. Kicked out of dummy half as well. So kicking goals, kicking out of dummy half, big tick for Coruscant. And if you were looking at him, I'm not going to push you away given those extra base stats. But he's also a scary one because he can be a 55 guy and he can be a 25 guy very, very quickly. Isaiah Papali'i in defense was trying to kill people. Like, he looked super strong for his 33 points in that one. Asukapoa, good running of the footy as well. Seyfarth didn't play massive minutes, guys, under a half a footy in this one. I think he ran the footy really well. 73 run meters for him is exactly probably what you want. That and big tackle numbers. Picked up a try, so he ran hard to the line, 32 post in that one, with a couple of tackle breaks and only 11 tackles for 2 misses, which will be way up. You can see here, most of the tackles came in the second half when guys like Bole with Samuela Fainu, Sione, Jake Simpkin, Talon Da Silva all were on the park. And in the first half, there weren't many tackle breaks from those guys in that first half. So Seyfarth, definitely look at him. We want to see him next week and see how that goes, but very happy with how he ran the footy, compared to that of like someone like Tom Eisenhuth, who didn't run much and didn't have a lot of vigor, whereas Alex was really bending the line and doing good things. Samuela as well, Pole, all had really good games in this one, apart from the sin bin for Samuela. But worked hard, did good things. I think Tigers fans will be excited with some of the depth that they have coming through the ranks in that one. So that's the end of this video, guys. Do check us out on the podcast, and obviously YouTube as well is the best way. I'm on socials, which is great. Jump on there, all the short stuff if you like that, rather than the long stuff here. But yeah, that was awesome, guys. First trial games are in the books. We'll get into our analysis tomorrow evening as well. We've got our Storm podcast that we did 4 or 5 days ago. Now we've had too many videos to come out with Scoop, and we'll get out the last of those teams before getting much closer to the end to the season. Now we're 13 days away from round 1 and the split team list as well. I've got a looping video to come out soon as well, so if you're interested in looping, that's where we're at there. And thanks, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.